Hello, my name is Alan Gersten. I'm representing the state of California. I teach at Century High School in Santa Ana, California, and we are an inner city school with a very high limited English population and high poverty. 95% of my kids are on free and reduced lunch, and I run a 3-year business program called the E-Business Academy that focuses on entrepreneurial skills. We are articulated with the community college, and students gain credit while in my program and can earn a certification in international business. The first question that I'd like to respond to is describe what you have done in your program that has made the greatest impact on student learning. Well, I've done several intentional things that have impacted student learning, and they fall into pretty much 3 categories. The first I'm going to talk about is the academic knowledge-based impacts. I've built an environment of high rigor and relevance that aims at engaging students in active learning and growth mindsets. I use the knowledge that they gain from this to solve real-world problems and apply what they have learned to predictable and unpredictable situations that might arrive in real life. I've kind of adopted a less is more strategy in my classroom. This allows me to I do limited lecture. So typically when I start a student, I do a foundational lecture to introduce a unit or a concept. I do not give students step-by-steps, how do I want it being done. It's usually open-ended objectives, emphasizing self-exploration and a work-to-learn model. So as the kids are working through this, they are gaining the knowledge that they need through their self-exploration. They take the responsibility for their own learning. I'm more kind of the guide on the side than a sage on the stage when you look at my classroom. Another thing that we incorporate is the entrepreneurial mindset focus in my classes. We use curriculum from the Entrepreneurial Learning Institute, their Ice House curriculum, and we talk about how the mindset that they have can change how they view the world and can impact their future. The next area of impact is career-related impacts. And one of the things that we do is we build companies in my class through our virtual enterprise model. Over the last 18 years, I have helped students build 30 different companies. Within that, they come up with the ideas, they apply for jobs, they attend live interviews with community members help interviewing them, and they compete with their peers for jobs within the company. Once hired, they work in departments, and my classroom becomes like an office. So throughout that year journey that they are in my class, they gain invaluable experience in a real-world simulation of working in an office. And these are the skills that they will carry with them as they move into careers and beyond. The second area is I want to expose them to competition. You know, business is all about competing for that dollar in everybody's pocket. And my students love the opportunity to see how they can stack up against other schools, and they thrive on the ability to compete. In our virtual enterprise model, we have over 20 different competitions that allow all the students in my class to compete in various competitions. We also compete in local Shark Tank competitions throughout the year where they can earn cash to help pay for different things that we do throughout the year. And all of this competition allows them to gain gain feedback for self-evaluation and creates pathways for self-improvement. We also travel to places like New York, Washington, D.C., and San Francisco. And when I expose the kids to these great cities of the world, they see the opportunities out there because many of them never get outside of their local communities. The last area of impact is social emotional. One of the areas that I try to do is I try to build intentional relationships with the kids and build strong connections with the demographic that I have. They respond very well to that. They need to feel safe and comfortable with their teachers. So the intentional relationship we build have a great impact on the population that I work with as I try to interact and get to know the kids that I have. I greet the kids every day at the door with handshakes and their name. And I take personal interest in their lives because I'm not lecturing all the time. I have the time to spend individually in small group with kids, find out what's going on in their lives. And this has afforded me several opportunities to help kids and their families who are in crisis. The last social emotional thing that we build is self-confidence. We do that through oral presentation that has been um, intertwined within my program. They gain experience through the interview process and gain confidence that they can be hired and work in a job. Through the success they get in their classes as teams and individual as companies, and winning awards builds confidence that they carry way beyond high school. Over the past 5 years, we've won 316 awards, and our program has very strong reputations, both regionally and nationally. Moving to the next question, identify one challenge CTE is facing and how would I address it? Currently, we are all experiencing this COVID pandemic, but there is another pandemic that is lying in the shadows of education that is destroying lives of students, and that is a financial literacy pandemic. You know, Americans right now maintain a $1.7 trillion student loan debt. That's increased 4% over the last 2 years. Over 1/3 of all Americans pay only minimum on their credit cards. In 2020, only 6 states mandated personal finance course for graduation. This is a problem. We are sending our students into a world with little or no financial knowledge. It's like dropping them off in a jungle without a compass or the tools to allow them to survive. So what am I doing to address this? Well, with educators, I'm a fellow with the nonprofit Next Generation Personal Finance, and they have a focus called Mission 2030 to have all students graduate with at least one semester of personal finance by the year 2030. I also maintain a website and blog of free materials to help teachers across the nation develop and incorporate personal finance into their classrooms. I've also presented at our state and national conferences on personal finance for educators. So what am I doing in my classroom? Well, I have a unit every year that explores student loan debt and the cost of going to college. Many students have no idea what the cost of college is going to be, and they don't have the resources to really jump into some of these private and very expensive universities. So we look for different pathways they could take. All the students in my program have bank accounts through FAMZoo or Virtual Enterprise. They earn money through working on assignments, projects, and completing tasks within the classroom. My students are immersed in personal finance where they set up budgets, purchase vehicles, learn how to find a place to live that all fall within their budgets. They pay bills monthly throughout the year. In the spring, we generate W-2s for them to submit their own income tax. In fact, I've been working with Intuit to test an educational version of TurboTax, where they have come in, run workshops with my kids to test their software. I allow my kids within this virtual personal simulation to have virtual pets, to be virtually married, and to have virtual kids a part of their personal finance experience so they can see what it's like to maintain life living with those kinds of things. We have the opportunity for kids to have a simulated wedding. We do those within the classroom. They complete marriage applications. They pay for the wedding. They have a ceremony complete with music, a Costco cake, virtual vows, and we exchange ring pops. This year I started an internal stock market. I've always wanted to do that, where kids can become public IPOs based on their performance in class, and they can invest in themselves or other kids within the classroom. We have market days where they can buy and sell stock, and they can use the money they use in the stock market or in their bank account to bid on gift cards and electronic items and treats. And also with that money, we have a variety of things that can be purchased through my classroom store, and that's posted on my school webpage. So I think personal finance and financial literacy is the one area that a challenge that CTE is facing that I think will help every student that graduates. Thank you for the opportunity to interview, and thank you for your time.